Hey guys, this is YG bringing you another installment of our set review series, and it's pretty exciting actually. We're nearly caught up with actual releases, which is really odd to be quite honest. It's a very strange feeling. Either way, today I have with me not as always anymore because there've been a few, but mostly always. I've got El Prez,
God, I am lazy.
and then we've got Tim Tom, who is slowly usurping everything except my quote unquote announcer position.
My media empire expands.
It's not hot pink anymore, which upsets me a little. And on this show, it's about idols, so we brought in a resident expert, the one, the only Peshkat. Say hello.
How's it going, guys? Resident apparent idol expert here, Peshcats.
Okay, so before we get started, I need to do this for several reasons. Is Bang Dream an idol set?
Uh, like you want my opinion?
Yes, I want your opinion.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? All right. So what are they classified as then?
Bands?
And
I
that
Is
that
Kaon idol? Dude, is
actually a lot
Neo
simpler
an idol?
I wouldn't call
Uh,
K on idols either.
yeah, Keon is totally idols, dude. Either way, we're going to get started with green. It seems. Quick spiel about rating system. Good cards are good. Start with these in your deck. Playable cards are playable. They're the role players of Rice. You play zeros, ones, twos, and threes because you need to, and therefore not every card can be outstanding. Niche cards only go in specific decks, of which there are several in this set because it's all been divided up by bands, though there is some intermingling. And then bad cards suck. Don't put them in your deck. They make your deck worse. Now we've also got the meta rating, which refers to reasons to play a set, and I mean we're pretty restrictive about the meta rating, but yeah, we give it here and there. And then we've also got a bunch of meme ratings, which I'm trying not to use too much, but we have in case we really do need to call something a dank meme. Now, let's get started. The first card is okay. So full disclosure. Neither me nor El Prez know anything about Bang Dream, idols, bands, whatever the hell it is, so we will be evaluating almost entirely in the dark. These two, on the other hand, are idol fags, so they know plenty about Bang Dream. That's why Peshkats is on, and that's why I'm letting Tim Tom coordinate everything. But I'm still talking because people like my voice apparently. So we're going to start with Evening Memory Ran Mitake. It's a double R00500. It is a clock bomb. So when it's reversed, level 0 or lower, you can bounce the clock in exchange for their top card of clock. And it has alarm, which, so for people who are newer to Weiss, who don't know what alarm does, alarm is basically a passive ability that triggers at certain points when the card is on top of your clock. So the most common way you get alarm is by clocking this card at the beginning of your clock phase. Uh, there are some scenarios where you randomly take damage and then there's an alarm effect on top. This used to happen quite prominently with the old Junez deck back in like 2009 or something, where people would get memed on because the alarm card is a continuous power pump. But that's very rare to see nowadays, and this is a bit of a resurgence. I think alarm is a pretty underpowered ability by default, but they've chosen to balance cards, and we'll talk about that when we come to it. So this card's alarm effect is when it's on top of your clock, at the start of your climax phase, give one character, specifically only one character. When it attacks, you may pay one. If you do, double trigger check. So like a twin drive in Vanguard, or basically you get two trigger checks. Uh, and yeah, I think this is a good place to kind of air out on what I think about these trigger checks. But before I do that, what does everyone think about this card?
It's just okay.
All right, so I guess I'll put in my 2 cents on this card. So obviously this card is splashable in any music deck because it doesn't have any restriction as to like what band you play it in. Uh, the fact that it's green obviously can make it a little bit awkward if you're playing a deck that's dominantly all the colors that aren't green. The alarm effect is a little bit interesting, not exactly the most useful effect a lot of the time, but sometimes can help you pay out climaxes in the middle of your attack phase. In addition, this card also has an very interesting synergy with a certain yellow card that will be eventually brought up later. And just a quick ruling thing, I guess. When you do 2 trigger checks with this card, abilities that activate when you trigger check a certain card will resolve after both trigger checks are done. And so that'll be relevant later on, I guess. But yeah, just a nice thing to know.
I can hardly contain my anticipation. So the thing about the clock bomb effect is that it's much better on a 500 power character, which this is. This lets it, I mean, among other things, you get to deny Kimono friends their search, which is not irrelevant, and you basically stop all on-reverse effects on basically everything, because this is going to be smaller than or equal to everything. And that is worth noting. As to how useful that is, it'll basically vary on a meta-by-meta basis, but I'm inclined to think it's merely okay. Nothing to go out of your way to splash this card for or anything. As for the actual alarm effect, I am extremely unconvinced of how good this particular effect is. Even though there is the possibility of you getting double trigger checks and doing a whole bunch of damage to your opponent when you weren't supposed to, and both cards do go to stock, so this is effectively a free mill one, so to speak. This doesn't actually net plus you stock, obviously, and I'm not convinced that this ability is anything more than marginal at the best of times. So, look, all of this taken into account, this card is perfectly functional at what it does, which is be a bomb, and occasionally be a mid-battle phase trigger out. Not often, but sometimes. And as a result, I'm just giving it a flat playable, to be honest.
500 power clock bond. That's fine.
I should also note that as far as 500 power suiciders go in Bang Dream, I think that if you are going to play one, then you should be playing the Sayo Suicider from the trial deck, because that one is a bottom deck Suicider. And
it can keep itself alive?
Yeah, it has the, if your entire front row, or if you have no other rested characters in the front row at the start of the Encore step, you can pay 1 to save her. So, yeah. I think that card is, if you're looking for just a 500 power Suicider that takes your opponent's cards off the field, I would probably just play that one first.
That card is blue?
Yes, that card is blue and it's in the trial deck. Yeah, the fact that it's blue and it's also in a more relevant color in the grand scheme of like Bang Dream mixed band decks also makes it more relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of those effects are pretty marginal, so I think it's just going to depend on what color you need to fix for.
Okay. More or less. So let's move on to the next card. Want to accept healings? Mocha Aoba is a 3/2 10k card. So it's, I should mention this, every card in this set has music, and then it also has a band's name as its trait. This one's is Afterglow, which is one of 4 bands, I believe. There's Afterglow, there's Hello Happy World.
There's 5.
5, okay. Popping Party,
Roselia, and Pastel Palettes.
One more. Yes, Pastel Palettes, the 4-color meme deck.
All I heard is that Ash gets 5 new traits.
Yes, he's in 5 bands all at once. So this level 3 is a 10k. It's got an interesting heal effect. So the term this is played from hand to stage, at the start of your encore step, you may heal 1. So
alarm synergy.
I guess this, yes. So it's alarm synergy. It means that you can go into the turn knowing you're going to refresh and still get that heal value, which is kind of neat. And yeah, honestly, I think it's mostly there because you want the alarm effect to linger through to the end of your turn. It's got a climax combo. When this attacks, if That Is How I Roll is in the climax zone, I'm assuming it's a bar.
Yes.
Yep. look at up to 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, choose up to 2 and put them in the waiting room, so any aberrant climaxes go away, put the rest on top in any order, then look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 of them, put them in the waiting room, and put the rest on top of your deck. So, look, this is, I think we went through... It's like a worse version of Cinco. It's what's it called? It's the Vivid Red Operation Girl, the green one. It's her name.
This effect is
damn
not
it,
good.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that one. Oh, it's Wakaba. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure hers is you take 1 card. You take up to 1 card and put it on the bottom. This one's you can take up to 2 and put them in the waiting room.
Yeah, but that one was also just on attack, no climax needed. This one's a climax combo, which means that this one will never be able to really confirm damage because you'll be hitting for... Oh, I mean, you can side attack, I guess. But chances are you'll be front attacking because that's how Wise works. And honestly, this effect is way too marginal for me to actually like it. 2 cards is not very many. So
it's pay 2 and look at top 2, and you can choose one of them to bottom deck.
Yes, that's Wakaba. Whereas this one, you do get to check your own triggers, which is nice. It means you get to confirm no triggers or confirm triggers, or you get to manipulate to some extent. But again, 2 cards is not very many. So 2 cards from your opponent, 2 cards from you is... I don't think it's impactful enough for you to want to play, to be quite honest. Is this really the top end for Afterglow?
For now, yes. And
That's
then
unfortunate.
You don't have to read this.
There's a trial deck coming out next year, which might have a new level 3 that we could use.
I mean, there is a splashable finisher in another color that you can run on.
I would play that. I would play that over this.
I think that this is like a splashable heal more than anything, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't have alarm though.
What
The
makes
other-
this splashable though?
I'm talking about the blue one, the Yukina. You can just
No,
play it.
to Alfred.
Oh,
What makes this splashable?
Because if you're playing Afterglow, you'll be playing these colors anyway, and it's just a heal
but
that's your
it's not
alarm work.
alarm. We'll get to the. I mean, okay, the alarm part is
Oh, wait.
relevant. This doesn't
What?
have
No,
alarm, so
I'm not saying it has alarm. Yeah, I understand that alarm is relevant. What I'm saying is it lets you use like level 3 alarm effects, of which I can totally see there being a few. Like they're gonna play with this effect, surely.
I have
And
a
as a
quick
result-
question, I guess, because I don't know for sure, though. How deep is the band's energies?
not.
So
on the
like Pop
band. Depends on the
and
band.
Party and Rosalia are the most splashable out of the 5 bands because all of their effects are almost purely just music trait based. Afterglow has a lot of effects that are also just general to music, but they also have a couple that are alarm specific. So those ones would be the ones that you play
They also have some
within their own.
specific effects too.
Yeah. Hello Happy World has like a couple Hello Happy World specific effects, mainly concerning their like 0 and 1 game, but like their finisher is not specific. That's the Musashi, so you can play that in a mixed band deck. And then Pastel, their entire thing is just based around colors. So
Okay, well, I'm looking at the level 3 Yukina in blue, and I would definitely play that over this. If you can splash for it, which you can off of the blue TD bottom deck bomb.
Or some
Sounds
other
about
card.
right.
Yeah. You have a lot of choice for color splash.
I mean,
color,
look,
color
just-
15 sorry.
If they have like an alarm card that says if you are level 3 or higher, give one of your characters when this attack deal 1 damage or something to that tune, like they're gonna have to push alarm super hard for it
Yeah.
to be particularly viable. If something like that exists, then this becomes the splashable heal of choice in an alarm-centric deck. But again, this is all theoretical.
That would still shift to the niche category in best case.
Agreed. But like I said, that's the utility behind the delayed heal. I don't think it's good. I think it might have applications, but as it stands, this is like playable minus or niche at best. Niche is probably correct.
Niche at best. Like, the only reason why you'd play this is for alarm synergies.
This is like the sort of card you play because you pulled the SSP and begrudgingly want to make use of it.
Yeah, niche at best.
I'm
not
good
play
with
this.
niche as well.
Okay.
Alright, next card. Plain Self, Maya Yamato is a 001k rare, back to rares. It gives 1k to all characters in front if you have 4 or more colors on stage.
Oh
It's not a
god.
it's not a harbinger of purple in Bang Dream. They're just future proofing, standard proofing. And at the start of your main phase, you may swap the bottom card of your clock with a trait, Pastel Palettes, so that's one of the band's character in your waiting room.
Which does proc anti-heal.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, it does.
yes, you are correct, because it is the effect of your own card going to waiting room. So,
Why are you clock swapping?
For the color.
Because
fix-
Pastel is the 4-color
So
deck.
this is the 4-color
Oh
deck.
god, it's for color
You're
fixing.
back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's actually not that hard to get this assist condition.
This is actually like a good effect, like it's a good assist.
This is the only green that I typically see people run in Pastel. Like maybe they'll run like a couple Afterglow cards teched in, like the 0/0 Mocha filter. But apart from that, this is basically the green that sits on your field the entire game in a Pastel deck. Like this will be your green, your Brainstorm's your yellow, and then you have red and blue front row.
There's like no way Pastel is like the meta deck, right? This is
Absolutely not.
No.
yeah. This is as niche as it gets.
I mean, he said that about Star Wars, but look at what happened there.
Well, I
I'm
mean
joking.
that deck is a
I'm-
goddamn
I'm
monstrosity.
definitely joking.
I mean, like if
not
we're
actually
saying
as
like
bad as it
strictly
looks.
if we're saying like strictly Pastel and not like just a 4-color deck, then
Niche plus.
yeah,
Okay, sure. That's fair enough. So
I mean,
we're not talking straight locked Pastel Palettes. We're talking maybe a 4-color deck could be quote unquote viable. But for now, this is like a niche card by definition.
Like it is as far as filling that niche goes, it's very good. If you're playing a 4-color deck, this is your enabler.
Yeah, this is like
payoff.
this is like a niche plus. I
Well,
think.
this is your
It's a,
enabler
it's
and
a
a
crazy
payoff.
assist. Like it's
It's, like,
1k
really
power.
good.
That is like
That's
that is
really
actually
good.
just a lot of power,
Yeah.
especially at level 1.
It's 100% niche plus.
All right, so we'll go with I think niche plus is
Sure,
reasonable
niche
for it.
plus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
like
go.
it's your enabler and your payoff.
Yes,
That's
SSD.
great. I don't know how much you can ask for,
Well, there's more payoff for this deck, but we'll get to that.
but I mean this is like a level 0 payoff. That's
There-
great.
We have a lot. Here's a level 0 payoff for.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
5-card Brainstorm.
Woo!
Well, that's a good place to be.
TP!
Oh, it's not this Brainstorm, by the way.
It's not this
Oh, this-
brainstorm. It's a different one.
So
Yeah.
we've got Patient in Pajamas, Tomoe Uehara. Can you guys hear me? I think I might be cutting out.
I
your
can-
mic's
I can hear you.
just- your mic got a
your
lot
number-
quieter, actually.
Your number's off by 1.
I'm quiet.
Is it
What
off by
about now?
one? Oh,
Yeah.
you can actually read the thing. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, we're on 29.
All right. So Tomoe Uehara, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
So at the start of your climax phase, if you have a card with alarm on the top of your clock, give a character 1/5 for the turn. So I like that effect.
Afterglow.
to be honest.
Afterglow. Afterglow.
Afterglow.
Yeah, give an afterglow character. Sorry, but I like that effect a lot. And then pay 1, tap 2 brainstorm. Flip over 4 cards for every climax. Search for a music character from deck. Add it to hand. Shuffle your deck. So it's notable that this is the Afterglow Brainstorm, but it also allows you to search any music character, which means if you want, you can search like the blue Roselia cards we were talking about earlier. But unfortunately, you can't give power to those cards. Not that that's super relevant, but I mean,
It's pretty relevant considering you can't give power to arguably like the best finisher that we've seen like in a while.
Are we still talking about the Yukina?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. I mean that's fair enough.
Her
But
cost
if
is
you're-
steep.
isn't Yukina a heal?
Yes, she is also a heal.
So you're going to, I mean, are you going to clock an alarm card and then decline to heal with Yukina?
I mean, if you got more than one alarm clock, more than one alarm card in your clock, then
Ooh, her
I mean, that's fair enough. But I'm not going to count on that. Look, that first effect is deceptively powerful. 1,500 power, costless, is always something to think about. It's just that this one's so restrictive that it dampens the power hugely. Like this will primarily be used at level 1 and splashing into level 2, I presume. And I don't think it's going to be much for level 3. Maybe you'll sack into getting an alarm card on top of your clock. I don't think your alarm density is actually that high though.
It
Correct
is.
me if I'm wrong.
It actually is.
How high is it? Like how many cards?
The lists, you can get to like around 60% alarm, as in total,
But
as
is
in
that-
total
is that-
deck. So it's like 30 out of 50 cards are gonna be alarm.
That's a lot.
Are you playing 30? Holy crap.
Yeah, I'm playing 30.
Is that good though? That's the question.
I mean, that's not, I didn't say it was good. I'm just saying that's like in a deck that builds around alarm, you'd want to get like around that many. I think.
How the hell are you
Okay.
fitting 30?
Okay, sure,
We can
but
talk about it after. But, like,
2000.
doesn't that makes this card on like all the time, and that makes this a very good card, but that sounds like you're giving up a lot of something.
maybe. I mean,
That just sounds wrong to me.
meh. I'm just saying.
I-
If you're gonna build the deck, you're gonna build around alarm.
Oh
Fair
god
enough.
damn it!
So
Okay,
you want
let's-
to
2K1
this
sold
like
for-
playable minus?
I'm gonna
It's-
call
I'm
this
gonna say
yeah,
niche plus.
probably like niche plus, yeah.
You've
Because
got
like
other brains,
I mean,
right?
it still is
This
a brainstorm. Yeah, you have other brainstorms.
if you're playing a general deck, you have more than enough alternative choices
You
for a
can color
brainstorm
fix
than this
from your
card.
brainstorm slot. From your brainstorm slot, though.
No.
Okay. Next card.
Alright.
Sorry,
Next
I
card.
like literally spent the last 5 minutes looking for the Afterglow level 1 combo.
Oh, it doesn't
It's-
So
have-
it's a
doesn't have
1/0
alarm, by the way.
rare.
No, like we'll get to it. It's fine.
Okay.
I just need to
We,
make sure. I need to contextualize the brainstorm.
Sure. Three of them playing with water. Himari Uehara is the 0015. So when you play a climax, you may bounce this to hand and give a character 2k for the turn. So it's the Kuroko slash what's her name again? The Dalsenyo card. I've forgotten her name. The AI. I've forgotten. Whatever.
Or
That's
Kuroko.
their effect. I mean we'll call it Kuroko begrudgingly. And then
don't be
alarm.
so tsundere.
You don't
We
even
all-
know
we
what
all-
that word.
We all know you love Kuroko.
Oh god.
Can I kick you from the call?
No, because I'm the.
Oh, damn it. Alright, so the other effect is alarm. If this is on top of your clock and you have 4 more music characters, so easy enough, you may salvage a character in your waiting room, then discard a card.
So
At the start of climax phase.
Ah, yes, at the start of climax phase, my bad.
I think
So,
we looked it up. Oh no, sorry. Encore phase is still combat step. Climax
Correct.
phase is not.
Yeah, encore step is still during the attack phase, yes.
Anyways, this effect is actually very good. I like this effect.
Yes. The alarm effect is really nice too.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it.
Free filters.
It's a very viable green splash.
Yeah.
If for some reason you need
yeah.
it.
Green
It's
is the
fine.
new red. So,
Green
yeah, this is
salvages
just
now.
it's a good card. You bounce it, and then you clock it, and that's like a hand fix. Keep in mind, this is like a future hand fix. The turn you play
it's-
it down,
It's very slow.
yeah, the turn you play it down, you can only expect to have like the effect in 2 turns time, not in 1 turn. So it is quite slow, but it is a free hand fix, which is always worth considering. The problem is you have to clock to do it, so there is a chance that by the time this card is what you want to do, you don't actually want to clock. So, like I said, alarm is an inherently weak effect because barring some extremely powerful effects, which don't even exist right now, they're all theoretical, I think. I haven't looked through all of the Afterglow cards. There's no real reason you'd want to clock late game. And that's just the truth. You don't want to take too much damage in the late game. And hell, a lot of people don't even like taking damage early, which is again, that's a philosophy people can have. I don't necessarily agree with it. So this card does a lot of good things, but I think it looks a little better than it actually ends up being, unless of course you sack into it by taking it as damage, in which case it is fantastic. So I'm sitting again.
Wait,
This isn't fixed after trade either, so I think you could actually just call this.
I call it
Playable.
playable.
This is totally playable. Did
I don't
this
know if you have-
really get strictly worse member select?
What'd you say?
Don't. We'll get to it.
Alright.
Also-
I'm calling this card playable, but
Yeah, playable.
yeah. What'd you say?
Also, just one comment I want to make regarding this card, like in the context of like Afterglow, which is like residently where it's played. The fact that the Afterglow Brainstorm is tap 2, you can play this down, use it as your second tap, and then play a climax, bounces back to your hand. And it also has a little bit of synergy with a card from the first set, which is like a green glitter green card. That was a 2/5 clean cut.
Yeah.
So if you use this card to buff that, can get big enough to like kill your opponent's character, and then now that this is back in your hand, you can use the clean cut effect to put one of your other characters in the back row.
Combo.
That is cool. Yeah. All right. But still playable is what I'm sitting at.
Yeah.
Next card. This is the Afterglow combo you're talking about, right?
It's a split 2k1 soul.
The beginning can occur
Pretty
any
good for
time.
this kind of
Tsugumi
thing.
Hasawa.
Yeah.
It is a 1/04k 4/5. During your turn, evolve your What? Isn't? Oh wait, no, that's Pastel Palettes. Never mind. During your turn, evolve characters are green. This gains 2k power, and when the battle opponent of this reversed, if you have the double 2k1 soul in the climax zone, look up the 4 cards from the top of your deck, add a music character to hand, ditch the rest, and then give a character 2k for the turn. So it's your typical snowballing on reverse thing. So we've seen it in Minami, we've seen it in Maki. I'm sure there's other examples too.
This one
It
is
is
mega huge. Like
It is Afterglow trait, so it buffs from the brainstorm.
Yep. So
super
these get
huge.
like
It's fucking enormous.
these get like 10k.
10k plus in like every lane if you get. So if you can make the first one 10k, and then you can make every other one. You can make others.
5.
the other
10k.
ones
You like
It's
10K.
10k,
throw-
10-5, 10-5.
Throw a Himari buff into the mix, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot of power.
It's literally 10k, 10-5,
This
10-5.
can actually kill Soundless Voice. If you wanted to.
It can kill fucking Ryder if it doesn't have a backup.
Now the only problem is that Afterglow as a deck dies to literally everything on defense.
Yes.
Literally everything.
This is a 4-5. Unless your goal is to bust walls, this is probably excessive power. Is anyone even playing wall decks anymore?
Yeah, a lot of people play wall decks right now.
I mean, like 9k wall decks?
Uh,
No, not that big.
not that big, but
Because, like, I don't think it's changed very much for the most part, but 9k is generally, like, the breaking point for most 1-0s to get over.
9k post counter
hey
is still
man,
quite
it's
common.
future proofing.
For, like, I mean, if we're talking about, like, Rider and Terraformers and stuff, like, you're looking at 11k post counter. Like,
Rider
those
could
those
get
decks
that.
are... Those
I don't
decks
think
are
those decks
steep.
exist anymore.
Those decks are steep.
Can't
Those
hear
decks
you
are
very
also-
well, Alfred.
That's like Australian internet. Don't mind me.
But
By
those
the way,
decks...
this is niche by arguably niche plus by any definition.
I think the Afterglow deck is niche. I agree.
Mono green only, right?
Yeah.
Is this just SSP's set? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's like
there's
SCPs have like
it
3
is.
different arts,
There's
and I'm just
a
like
ton of
so
SSPs.
confused.
Lots of SSPs.
This is like
SSPs.
so yeah, I agree that this is a niche plus, but it's like a very, very good niche
Wait.
plus.
Does she have 2 different uniforms? Like 2 different school uniforms?
No, it's just
I
the
don't
lighting
think
in
this
the
is
first
like
card.
this isn't
What?
like so good you would
Is it the lighting? Because
you'd
her
play
tie
off
is
It is the
green.
though, is it?
It's the lighting, dude.
Her tie is green,
Hey man.
and then it's purple with no stripe.
Wait, there's stripes. There's a
All right.
stripe.
Anyway,
Interesting.
Maybe she
anyways,
just does 2 different.
what do we have next?
Let's just.
3-2 Ron. Okay.
Oh, you can do it while this is.
Huh? Who's doing it?
I'll do it.
Okay, sure.
Okay, we have Proof of Existence, Ran Mitake. 3/2 10k power. Has an auto ability. When you attack, you can pay the cost of 1 stock to mill the top 3 cards of your deck and deal X damage to your opponent, and X is the number of cards the alarm and damage cancel can occur. And it also has an alarm effect itself. At the beginning of your main phase, if this is on top of your clock, you may pay 1, clock the top card of your deck to search for an Afterglow character, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So, this is the payoff for alarm.
So, this is what you're trying to set out for?
Basically, Yeah. Also does double duty as a Ricky for the Afterglow deck.
Yeah. I like it as a Ricky for the Afterglow deck. I'd say niche plus.
Yep, same.
So a note about the math for this effect. Um, if you enter your final deck with let's say 2/3,
20.
2/3 alarm.
Sure.
2/3 of your deck is alarm, so you won't go back with 8 climaxes, and then 2/3 of basically like 2/3 of that deck going back is alarm. It's like 80% to hit one or more, and then like
Okay, how many hit?
50% to hit 2 or more per run.
That's not bad.
And then 3 more is like whatever. I don't even
I
know
mean,
if you want to hit 3.
You ideally
But
don't
that's
want to hit 3.
basically you basically
There's
playing for this card as the payoff basically means you have to commit really hard to alarm,
like
Yeah.
which I think
Pay
is
one.
the point, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's the point. But like, pay 1, burn 1 on attack is totally reasonable.
Pay 1, burn 2 on attack is really good.
Yeah. And then pay 1, burn 3 on attack is reaching the I don't know if this is worth it anymore category.
Right now, I don't think there's actually right now how the deck is formulated. You're running a lot of mediocre cards that just have alarm text. If the TD plus comes out and it adds some more cards you can run with alarm, like an alarm healer or an alarm oversize.
Don't play bad cards. Make other cards less bad.
Hey, but we already.
They're not bad. They're just
alarm heal.
they're just like whatever. No, we don't have. Wait, we don't have an alarm heal.
No. I said I was like, wait, but what about? And then I realized you said alarm heal, and I was like, oh,
yeah. An alarm healer. Preferably with that synergistic healing effect, but that's essentially how the deck stands right now.
As far as like climaxless finisher,
this
card is really good at not only level 3 but also level 0, level 1. You just have to hope that you don't get put at 0-6 by your opponent, because then you look at this card in your hand, and then you look at your clock, and then you just want to die.
Wait. Oh yeah, because you can't clock.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Turns out alarm is awful if you're at 1-0 or 2-0 or 3-0.
Yeah, niche plus all around, I think. Next card. Wait. Okay, so this is Sunset Seen That Day. We're in the uncommons, I think now. Mocha Alba, 0015. When it comes into play, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, add it to your hand and ditch a card. So it's like a top deck filter, and this has an alarm effect. If this is on the top of your clock and you have 3 or more music characters, you can pump something 2k power. Pump any character 2k power. No, sorry. Yeah, pump any character 2k power at the start of your climax phase. This is not bad. Like
it's a very reasonable filter.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better alarm cards you have available to you.
This is another one of the green cards that I'm seeing splash.
In other decks,
Yeah, in other decks.
Because the power pump is not tied to anything Afterglow related, actually, which is not bad.
No, this card is fine.
And then like the main motivation for wanting to like have green as a splash, from what I'm seeing, is the 2/1 Suicider, because it has the stock alarm, and it's also just like a good card.
Yeah, of course. Think playable.
This is just a straight playable.
Yeah.
This is probably like the only other green card that you. No, actually, I take that back. This is one of two green cards that aren't Pastel Palettes that you would potentially see in a Pastel Palette deck. The other one being the Ran PR.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, rip Alf.
Okay, so we have a stage, Aya Maruyama. She is a 0/0 power. Global 500 to all Pastel Palettes characters. And has a climax combo with a gold bar. When Shuarin Dreamin' is placed in your climax zone, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's a Pastel Palettes card, you can stock it, and then choose a character and it gets 500 power for the turn.
This card is not good.
No, it's not.
It's
play it.
definitely
It's not even.
like Pastel Palettes is a deck that has two
What deck
back
does
row
this go in?
cards associated with a climax combo, and this is easily the worst of the two.
Yeah, there's no. I
It's
don't even
bad.
know
No,
what.
This
actually
is
Yeah.
this is actually just bad.
Yeah, there's no payoff for this card.
no. This is really bad.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a call where you can only hear every second syllable?
Yes.
No. Next
I
card.
just was,
Are you
and
back?
that was truly terrifying.
I'll just
I'm
keep
kind
going.
of back.
I'll just keep going with this card, I guess. Next card is Stage. Tomoe Uehara. She is a 1/0 3500 power card. She has a continuous ability. If you have two or more other music characters, it becomes a cost 0 clock bomb. So when it gets reversed by cost 0 or lower character, you can put the character that reversed this card into clock, and then send the top card of your opponent's clock into waiting room. Also has an alarm ability. At the start of the climax phase, if this is at the top of your clock, you can give a character. No, sorry. At the start of either climax phase, you can choose a character and it gains Hana core for the turn.
This card seems pretty good.
It's like a decent card on the field, but because of that, you don't want to clock
Don't want to
it.
clock it.
Oh,
So
I'm not
basically,
even. I'm ignoring that clock effect. It's a cost 0 bomb.
there are
Yeah,
ways.
the effect is still good. Yeah, on the field. That's the reason. That's the main reason that you would play it. Honestly,
There are ways to get this into clock, but apart from like sacking it. But yeah, this is a solid playable on the board.
Like cost 0 bombs are still pretty hard to come by. So especially being a clock bomb, it's very nice, playable.
it's also very funny swinging at your opponent with a 9K cost 0
Yeah,
suicider.
you can make this really big too.
That's very
it'll
fun.
Yeah.
You know what would be really good design? If this was like a clock bomb that also clock bombed itself, and then
Uh-huh.
it gave the encore at encore phase.
Wow, that'd be.
Oh,
Oh man,
That would be pretty sick.
come on,
Like
dude.
I said, cool design, but obviously not something was too powerful. But a double clock bomb would be neat for an alarm card. I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
yes.
Okay, sure.
Uh-oh.
Acting before thinking, Sugumi Hazawa. It's a 2-1-3. Oh, am I crapping out again?
No, you're
No,
fine.
you're good now.
Okay, sure. It's a level assist, so just gives level assist in front. And if it's got alarm. If it's on the top of your clock and you have 3 more music characters, choose a character to gain 2k for the turn. So another power pump, which is fine. And then it's got maybe my favorite line of text in the whole game. Rest this, look at the top card of your library, and put it either on top or bottom of the library.
Is that actually your favorite,
So
or
I
are you memeing?
It's one of my favorites because from my perspective, what it reads is rest this card, cheat.
All right.
Okay.
It's actually one of my favorite effects, but obviously it's not nearly as impactful as as I'm making it out.
Something about Guilty Crown.
Like, have you ever played with a brainstorm and one of these effects?
Yeah, it feels great.
Like
Oh,
like
by the way, if you have this card and the brainstorm, the brainstorm's tap 2, so you would have to
which is
rest
the
this and then tap 2 characters. Feels bad, man.
You only need to
Yeah,
get on
so-
the Terraformers level. Their brainstorm literally scries every time you play a character.
So if you like, this card is obscene with brainstorms. Like if you just tap this and then you play versus Zero Notes Climber, and they've got the for every climax they hit, they either draw 2 or they salvage 2. And then when they use this effect on the field, and then they're like, I'll leave the card on top, your heart
Literally.
sinks and you just never want to play Weiss ever again. But
Literally
yeah,
cheat.
this is, you play this, right? Because it's your standard level 2 support makes your, I don't know if you have an advanced summon, but it makes something for that, right?
Well, not an Afterglow, you don't.
You can play this in Afterglow.
Not an Afterglow?
No, I'm saying advanced summon. You don't have an Afterglow.
Oh, no,
you don't
not
have
an Afterglow.
Okay, but like you can. Do you have a better candidate for level assist?
In other decks?
You do in some other decks. I think
I like the Rinko brainstorm. Not Rinko brainstorm. I like the Rinko level assist. I like the Saya level assist.
Yeah, you have a lot of different candidates for different bands, but I think you could easily justify playing this because some people might be splashing green for other reasons, anyways.
Like, okay, so in Afterglow you play this because it has alarm. In other decks, I don't think you play it because you just have better level assists that do better things. So I'm gonna give this card like just a niche.
Doesn't this synergize better with the Roselia brainstorm?
I actually don't like that card straight up.
Yeah, but like, sure, but like, this makes it better, for sure.
Sure. Yes. Sure.
So, what is this looking? Playable? Playable minus?
Playable.
This is like a playable for me because I'm a sucker for that line of text.
Okay, then
Is it
I'm gonna
niche
call
for
it.
you, Randall?
I'm gonna call it like I'm still just gonna stick with niche personally.
Alrighty.
I'm giving it a
That's
solid
fine,
playable.
that's what the ratings are for.
Okay.
Just tap the card to cheat. How good is that?
Speaking
Right,
of
next
tapping,
card.
what is that tapping?
Probably something in my room.
Something
with
tapping
my
against
door.
your microphone.
It might be. It might be like my headphones rubbing against my mic. Either way.
Next card.
Next card is here. Wait, is that it? Yeah, here. Present for you. Himari Uehara. 2145. When this is reversed, if the battle opponent of this is higher than level of the opponent, you may clock bomb it. So anti-change clock bomb and alarm if this is on top of the clock, and you have 4 more music characters. At the start of your climax phase, you may put the top card of your library in stock. So again, why isn't this a mutual clock bomb that does the affected encore step? That would be so cool. Like, that'd be well designed too, so because you need to have a full field for it. Either way,
So from what I've been observing, this is the payoff for splashing green in decks that aren't Afterglow. People are running.
Just to get extra stock.
I've seen people running
why not,
this
right?
as a 4 of. Like
That's-
this
it
is a
is-
4 of plus like green splash.
Well, I don't know.
It
I
is
don't know.
basically just free clock, right? Free stuff.
Not in the 4 of, I guess. Not as a 4 of, but in most.
I could
decks,
see it as
like,
I could see 3 being fine. I think 4 is
Yeah,
a little bit excessive.
3
I
is-
think 3's fine.
3's. You'd have to have a lot of space though to justify running this at 3. But
It's like you clock 1, and then you just throw it into level zone, and then the one that you actually want to put on field comes online. Or if you just don't need it later on in the game, then the next copy you draw, you just clock into that, and then hey, more free stock, woo!
yeah, the stock is nice. This is not bad with the Ran, because it lets you bottom out on stock and then still be able to do like triple. If that's something you want to do.
that's fair. I think these
this is a
effects
pretty-
are both super cool.
Yep.
Like,
I mean,
you just
it's an anti-level bomb with upside. Playable.
like this deck doesn't have early plays apparently, so this is especially necessary to combat other early plays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then you can like splash it. You can like splash it if you're not a fan of the other early plays, to help level the playing field there. And then when
Stock is
like
nice.
it fixes for itself, yeah, like it fixes for itself, and when you clock it to fix for your green, you get extra stock for it. So that's really cool.
And if you happen to sack into it as damage, that's even
Yeah.
pretty good.
Value.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Sure. Is that tapping still happening?
No.
No.
Now it's not.
Okay, so it was.
Hey-
I just had to...
Hey, we have Ranekawa Tsubasa.
Dude, and it's
No more
even
presentation.
a better trigger for stock. You get so much stock.
Is it a
It's called-
bag?
It's a bad.
And then you
Gold
pay it out.
is-
You pay out the gold bag when you with your twin drive 0-0.
Yes. I love Gold Bag. Gold Bag makes me happy.
So this is payoff for going mono green. I think. I say that very hesitantly.
Maybe, sure. Yeah.
So if you have 6 or more cards in stock, this is a 229k climax combo. When Fanatic Voice is placed at the climax zone, if this is in the front row, choose up to 2 green characters in waiting room, put them in your stock. So I'm gonna say the same thing I said for Hanekawa about this card. The first time you played a climax, all you've done is play a big ass 2-0, and that's fine, but that's not really a lot better than playing like a big ass 1-0. especially because this doesn't actually break the early play barrier on defense. Like on offense, you can because you're playing Afterglow, but on defense, you're not necessarily going to get there. And as a result, you need to link
has hand
climax
encore, though.
combos. It has green encore specifically.
Sure, yeah.
But
If
it's
only this
green
were bar!
Yeah, if
Whoa!
it bar. Because like bar would be much better because you could discard the bars to encore it, and in the case like that seems bad because you just want to play the bar again, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
No, you
if
just
you
play
have
the bar.
another
Because,
dude, you just trigger multiple bars. 'Cause you
Hanekawa
played
after
Twin Drive.
one climax combo. Hanekawa with one climax combo is like pretty alright. You got a good soul rush, you cleaned out your stock and replaced it with the worst cards in the waiting room, and it's fine. It gets insane when you have two climax combos. But in order for that to happen, you need to, one, be in a game state where playing the bar and having the climax combo is the best thing you can do that turn. And two, be in a situation where you aren't immediately threatened. Because if you are, then this isn't going to immediately save you. This is not immediate compression. You need to refresh for this to actually be compression on even on the second bar. So while this is a card with a lot of potential, like a lot of potential, I also think that you need to really understand what the card does before you just jam it into your deck. And as a result, look, I'm going to give this like a niche plus meta rating, I think, because this is the payoff for mono green, in my opinion.
This card is pretty dank. Gold.
It's also worth noting that
Gold bag
in a
gets
deck,
the plus for me just for the memes.
It's also worth noting that in a deck where you want your like when you refresh, you want your deck to have alarms in it so that your Ron 3/2 when it attacks, you can mill alarms. So using this card to put non-alarms into your stock so that you don't see them later on is pretty relevant.
This is a much better secondary
That's
climax
really sick,
combo
yeah.
than the Mocha, for sure.
Yes.
I think
mention-
the real question is though is this the play over like splashing like Yukina?
Probably not.
I don't think so,
I agree.
but that's because I'm not like hugely in love with Hanekawa like some people are.
I'm
But
generally all about any excuse to play gold bag in a waste deck.
you can make the argument that this is the play, but I don't think you can like defend it as the only possible play.
Like,
Especially because Afterglow 1-0 combo.
I'm gonna be real. Like any excuse to play gold bag, I'm all about.
Can we not do that, please?
Can we not do what?
I don't want Kasumime's face on, please.
Oh. Good memes, bro. Right, next card. Stage, Ran Mitake. It's a 0/0/1/5. When this is placed from hand to stage, if there's one or fewer characters in your opponent's front row, give one of those characters -3k for the turn. So, pretty good. Anti-runner.
That guitar isn't plugged
size.
into anything.
What is it? What?
Doesn't
and
need Come on, dude.
That guitar is not plugged into anything. It's an electric.
anime.
It's an electric Les Paul Gibson. Like, they don't really make very much noise if they're not plugged in.
Dude, just read the card.
I already did read the card. It
Oh,
reads,
okay. All right. Just talk about the card.
Like,
It kills
this is
runners that
solid.
aren't called. It kills runners that aren't called Armin or Kaede.
Nice.
Yeah.
or what's her name? Lara.
It doesn't have alarm, so
You can theoretically maybe not kill. No,
I think most
it'll
notably
basically always
is
kill
that
Harrison Ford.
this is
I
probably.
think most notably is that like because Afterglow's level 0 game is so absolutely abysmal, you gotta have some way to get rid of
redeem
your opponent to redeem the fact that your level 0 game is so abysmal by making your opponent's OP level 0 game slightly less OP.
You can
This
just
is another way,
splash-
by the way, to kill the things that need to get reversed to go to memory.
You just
'cause it just
splash,
kills.
like other cards though, other oversizes or whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's what you do if you're playing an Afterglow deck. You're kind of forced to splash another oversized. I think like the Sugumi level 1 combo, even if you have like a card from another color, it still gets like
big enough
decently
to
big
get
enough.
over a lot of stuff. Yeah. So, I don't know how necessary this is. I don't think this is a bad card, but
I think it's like playable minus.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Negging your opponent, I don't think is nearly as strong as plussing yourself. even very specific matchups where you might consider that strong. Anyway, next card, stage, Tsugumi Hazawa, 0025. During your turn, if there's a marker under this, it gains 2k power, and when this is placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, you may put it face down under this as a marker. Otherwise, put it back where it was. I see that they learned from what's her name, Futaba, and now they.
Oh no. You are 100% wrong about that because that profile is in this set.
Oh god.
And this card, the first 3 words of this effect have broken so many hearts. I have had to tell people again and again and again, like, this card only gains power on your turn, and they look up the translation and it's like, I thought this card was so good, but this card is so fucking garbage.
Yes, I agree.
Great.
Yay!
The worst part about the worst thing about this card is that this is the highest defensive power card in Afterglow. That is so sad.
That is a goddamn tragedy.
That's what the TD Plus is for.
Please, TD Plus, please help.
Alright. Next card, Stage Himari. They're not very creative with these names, are they? Stage Himari Uehara. It's a 10500 power, so it's got to have something good about it, right? Alarm. If this is on top of your clock at the start of your main phase, you may swap a character in your waiting room with this. Oh, that's cool.
Procs anti-heal.
And it's a 1/5.
You can get rid of all those anti-heal cards with your clock bomb.
Or the 0/0 run. The other one. The one that we just talked about 2 cards ago.
Yeah, or that.
This card is really nice in the
really
deck where
cool,
you want to just get alarms.
It is really cool in that deck.
This card is super cool. I like it a lot.
What's really funny is that Afterglow is a deck where everything's gigantic on your turn, but everything is so tiny on your turn that even a backup isn't going to help. So you're never running this card for the backup. You're always running this card in the Afterglow deck so that you can clock it and then you can get whatever alarm you want out of your waiting room.
It's also a 1/0 beta.
Yeah, I have attacked with this on multiple occasions.
That's
tragedy.
Alright, so that's a really cool card, but it doesn't seem like the application is quite there. Next card.
I will also note for Alf that the names of the cards are all straight from the phone game. So the fact that like all these cards have stage at the start, it's because they're all just like the lower rarity cards, and they don't have the really nice art.
That's what I thought it was, but yeah, because it's just like it's I turned the screen share off because that seemed to fix my internet. But I did see a bunch of cards earlier which were just all the characters on like a maroon background. Is that these cards?
That's probably what you're. Oh, you mean like those ones are. Do you mean the one that I don't remember what the naming was, but I think you're referring to the series of cards that are like 3-star cards, higher rarity cards from the game.
Okay, sure. Anyway, moving on forward, stage, Mocha Aoba is a 1065. All your characters gain the ability, when this is reversed, put it on the bottom of your library. I mean,
so this is one card that's higher defensive power. The problem is that it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good, does it?
No.
I mean, you've always got the meme ability of being able to bottom deck cards to dodge on reverse since.
You can do it close to refresh to get the reclaim triggers.
Oh my god.
Well memed, sir. Well memed.
Stupid.
Too bad you can't control any of that.
So I'm just gonna call this card bad. Do you guys agree?
You have better
Yeah.
6/5s to play in any deck.
Do you have a better one in Afterglow?
Whoa. You just wouldn't play this in Afterglow, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think you play this anywhere.
I feel like that is the case.
You have a
I
cost
don't know
0 bomb in Afterglow, at least. You don't need this.
Not only do you have a cost 0 bomb, you have a cost 0 bomb that can hit for like 7 or 9k, and no problem.
Yeah. So.
Oh god, is this the Aya backup coming up? This card is so bad.
It is the Aya backup. It's a 1/1 backup working on Tanabata, Aya Maruyama. When you use the backup of oh my god. When you use the backup of this, if you have 4 or more colors on stage, You may choose a music character in your waiting room, put it in stock, and it's a 2K background.
You have
This
a
card.
costless 2K counter.
This card is awful.
This card is a trigger. That's about
All right,
it.
so the reason this card's awful, if you're playing like the 4-color deck, typically the only green that you're gonna have is probably like the level 0 Maya support that gives like 1K front if you have all 4 colors, and then maybe like a couple cards of Afterglow Splash because they have like good utility. But this is definitely not one of them. You have a 1/0 2K counter in blue. That's just a straight up 1/0 2K counter, essentially conditionless.
Does it check music or something?
If you have a music character on stage, big
Alright,
whoop.
bad. Okay, this
And
is
then-
already bad. You don't need to finish anymore. Like,
Yeah. And like the fact that blue is one of the colors that you're front rowing in that deck with like actually higher level cards. If you ever need to play the backup for some reason, you can actually play the 1/0 blue one. But in this deck, like you're literally running so little green and you're not trying to level green that like this card can get stuck in your hand and you can't even play it.
the only fringe application for this card is if you need to pay out a climax. That's literally it.
It's
You don't
so
even run
unbelievably
doors
fringe.
in the Pastel Palettes deck either.
Oh,
So,
don't we
If you
move
run
on?
if you run pure palette, then you do
oh,
run the
I mean,
door.
sure, but like
I don't think
that
in
door
any I don't
combo's
think
so bad.
I don't think in any build of any deck ever in BanG Dream should you ever be playing this card.
Yeah. On to the
Sounds
next
about
card.
right. It's just a very mediocre effect. Next card, Incredible Charm, Himari Uehara. It's a 1/1/5/5. There's a marker under this. It gains 2, 5, and 1 level. And when it's placed from hand to stage, check the top card of your deck. If it's music, put under this as a marker. Everything's in place for you to play like a really bad wall game, but
It's not the worst card, but it's also not Alarm.
Yeah, that seems like the problem. You're not really paying off to it's the Ran level 3, right? The one that like burns per alarm
Yeah.
you mill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that card is the payoff for Afterglow in my opinion, and this is not that card at all. Does everyone agree?
Yeah.
This is like niche minus because it's not like a bad card or anything. It's an 8K level 2.
Yeah, I agree with the
If
niche
you
minus.
hit, I guess. I don't know.
If you
Like, you have to
hit.
set up the hit.
Hey, you play the level support and then you check top card and it's not a climax, so you play this and then this gets +1 level, so it
I'm
gets
call-
more
I'm
power
calling
from
it.
the level support.
I'm going to call it bad, but
Well,
whatever.
yeah. Actually,
You're saying
I
that
call
like it's
this-
a joke, but that's actually like an actual application.
Yeah, that's actually a play.
I called this bad
Let's
in
be real.
Loggy, and I call this bad here, I think.
I'm gonna
I-
stick
I'm
with the
calling this
niche
bad.
minus that Alf said.
I just can't see it. I just can't see a reason why I'd ever play this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't-
the
I don't-
floors you
I
paid
don't
one
think
for a
it's-
5/5.
I don't think it's necessarily the card that you like literally never play. Like I could see somebody playing this and not call them like ridiculous for playing this card.
Yeah, like it seems better than bad for sure because it's not like it's been
Bad
it's not like
plus.
overshadowed by anything.
I don't know. For me, like, the floor is low enough that, like, I just don't want to touch it.
All right, so have you ever looked at Split 2K1 and thought to yourself, man, I wish I could give 2K1 to my entire field instead of just 2 characters. This is how you do it.
I see. So you have the brainstorm, you have this.
You have
And
the clock
wait,
bomb.
how else- what else?
Sorry, no. You have this. You have the brainstorm. You have the top deck filter. You have.
Well, this
you
is
have
the one that
removal
gives
assist.
this one gives literally 2K1. So you play a Split 2K1, give it to 2 characters, and then you have this in clock, and then you give 2K1 to your third character.
Yeah.
Seems fine. Seems good. Niche.
Silly.
It's another card where you don't. It's a backup, but you don't run it for the backup effect. You run it for the alarm because everything in your deck is just way too small to even hope to have a chance of killing your opponent's cards with backup.
It only
Although that
has
being said,
application at level
I-
3.
I do think that this one is better at being a backup than the Himari one, obviously, because like when you hit level
3K is
3,
better than 1/5.
yeah, you wanna save your run so that you can use her ability on the following turn. Because I mean, like, it's not climax dependent, and it's just so cheap that you can realistically proc it multiple turns in a row.
Yep.
Alright. Does that move us on to the last character?
No.
No, wait,
that's
that's the same
this is the
character.
last green
It's
card.
an event.
Strictly worst member select.
Can't be honest.
Aw.
It's
Look at
strictly
that.
worst
That
member
was
select.
This
very
is-
metal.
I think this is bad.
Why would they print?
Nah, dude, you get the
worse
main
Nimble Select?
you get the main phase alarm.
Dude, this isn't
And then
even
you-
alarm. This doesn't have alarm.
No, dude, you clock like 3-2 Ron, and then you use like the Ricky effect, and then you search,
Oh.
and then you play this main phase, and then you take the Ron, put it back in your hand, and then you get another alarm.
No.
Oh my
Stop
god,
it.
this is.
No,
Oh,
this
God.
card, you don't run this. You don't run this. Please don't run this.
This is an event, which
That
is
is pretty
relevant
terrible,
for
right?
some
Like,
other
Member
cards.
Select hasn't been good in other sets, and it's less restrictive there.
Yeah.
I like how your first thought is KOF.
What? That's because
Dude,
that's the first time this
who do you
card got
think you're
printed.
talking to?
Yeah. Also, that. Who do you think you're talking to?
Who the hell do you think he is?
Yeah, that is that.
I will say
is
that
a
the
good point.
I will say that the picture used in this card is the source of many memes
What
in
a
the Bang
lol.
Dream community.
What a waste of art.
What a waste of amazing
This
art.
could have been a meme card.
It's pretty close.
It's not no, but it's like one of those shitty memes. It's like this, dude. You know?
At least you didn't cover the better sister.
All
too lazy
right,
to
so
flip it
that
right
brings
now.
us to the end of green because we're already memeing on red, and I guess we'll be back with red soon. Or what color are we doing? Red.
I guess we're doing red next.
Yeah.